The Lakers lose to the Dallas Mavericks. The Lakers playing their first game since learning of losing Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic for the remainder of the regular season. They were unable to get it done. Cooper Flagg was absolutely fantastic. We're going to get into him in a moment. Dallas, one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league, got hot early, big game, and they kept it going. They were 432 from three. Plus 18, 44%. Their bench had 7 threes, and they had 24 fast break points, and they turned the Laker turnovers, 12 of them, into 21 points. So Dallas built up that 22-point lead, and the Lakers were just unable to get it closer than 5.
Yeah, Dallas not going anywhere in the postseason, but hadn't won a game, as we just talked about, since January. I think they lost 14 straight.
At home, yeah.
So at home. So the Lakers, coming into town, Cooper Flagg, an outstanding rookie, probably rookie of the year. They're still playing hard. They're looking for the future. And they caught the Lakers without 2 of their best players. It's not that the Lakers didn't come out and try hard. They just gave up offensive rebounds, just could not hit the three. And, it was just a tough game for the Lakers. All depending on LeBron to carry the load. He had a great game. But it just wasn't enough to keep up with the hot shooting that they had tonight.
James, I thought the Laker offense was pretty good, actually, considering you're throwing in all these different guys. Rui's back in the starting lineup. Just trying to make something happen. Luke Kennard in his first start with the Lakers. And Guy, I thought Kennard was impressive, except for the shooting. 5 for 17, but he made some playmaking. The offense, no problems with that. It was the defense. Cooper Flagg, 45 points, obviously an immense talent. He kind of ran free. And like you mentioned, the three-point shooting was kind of crazy for a team that has not been good in that category at all. So, this is what's going to happen, obviously. If this is just a kind of a little snippet of what's to come over the next week at least, and then to the playoffs for some time, Lakers offense could make damage. Got to work on the other end of the court, though, and that's not surprising with all these new faces in the starting lineup.
You heard Mike Tirico there at the end of the NBC broadcast. Jamal Crawford talking about Cooper Flagg and LeBron James putting on a show. Here you are with the oldest player in the league at 41. And then
great.
Here's the #1 overall pick at 19 years old. And they scored 85 points between the two of them with 17 rebounds and 24 assists. I do want to talk about Cooper Flagg making history. First time in 30 years a rookie has had back-to-back 40-point games. It was Allen Iverson who did it 30 years ago.
Wow.
He's coming off that 51-point performance, and he backs it up with 45, 2 for 4 from 3, 14 for 27 from the field, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. He got to the free throw line 17 times and made 15 of them. He's also the first teenager to ever go back-to-back 40-point games. And James, he started out with a purpose after he got that 50-burger the other night, and he was not slowing down. 19 points in the first quarter.
We're looking at Rookie of the Year. We're looking at an NBA mega star on the way, Geeter. Already in his rookie year, he's figured out how to stay poised, play his game. I've never seen him get rattled as much as the Dallas Mavericks and Jason Kidd has asked of him to play point guard, to play multiple positions without Kyrie Irving, without AD. He's one of the coolest cucumbers as a rookie that I've seen. And, he's had some barriers to overcome, just getting used to being in the league and playing every night against, great players. But, boy, he's really, got a second win here in the second part of the season. And he's really showing that, he's going to be a great player in this league, barring his injuries.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is going to finish with, 26, 27 wins. But, James, big picture, I remember last summer, I was talking with a buddy who really knows basketball about the Olympics coming to L.A. in 2028. And it was like, well, who's going to be good for Team USA? Steph's going to be gone. LeBron probably won't be there. Maybe Kevin Durant is still hanging around, but he's going to be close to 40. And we couldn't really come together with some names. But just this season, you realize Con Knipple, Cooper Flagg, obviously, Cade Cunningham making an MVP push. That's 3 pretty good young players to help Team USA in a couple years. What I'm trying to say is, great infusion of talent in this league for young players, of course. And just watching him play, that's unbelievable. It's hard to believe that he was getting a lot of criticism back around Halloween for going 1 for 9 in a game. Ooh, big deal. It was like his 4th game ever, and people have been looking to criticize this kid. And the past couple days, the past couple games have been outstanding for him. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's averaging 21 points per game. He's got the high usage. And, James, you had mentioned just his ability to kind of lead that team, even though it's been a tough year for them in terms of wins and losses. But they haven't stopped competing. You know, got a young piece in Max Christie, who they got in the Luka Doncic trade. And we'll see what happens to them, you know, over the years. But they have their leader.
Yeah.
In the franchise, without a doubt. He's only 19 years old. What I love about him, James, after he scored the 51, they interviewed him, and he wasn't that happy about it, didn't really want to talk about it. He said it came in a loss.
Yeah.
He wants to win.
He has a mentality of a champion. You're talking about a player who was just a freshman last year in college, who without Kyrie and AD's gone, he's the leader on the team. He's showing poise like he's been around for a while and answering questions like, you know, like the one you just said, 51, we lost. You know, that shows character, integrity, like leadership, and you have something to look forward to. You have something to build around. You know, if players are looking to be traded, they want somewhere to go, not a bad situation with Christie, Cooper. They're going to be good in the future. Just build around him. You
know, speaking of the Olympics, when 2024 was coming and the A team was playing against the younger players, it was Cooper Flagg who was making some headlines in those scrimmages. So like, these guys like LeBron, who have loved him for the last few years and said he's coming, he's here.
They're not surprised at all. The only surprise was Dallas moving up 10 spots in the lottery last May.
Miracles happen.
To get where they were. And, you know, it's one good thing that probably has happened for them in the last couple of years. It's been a very strange, rocky road for that franchise.
On the flip side of that, you have a 19-year-old and then a 41-year-old. And the 41-year-old was tasked with having to be the #1 option, not just in scoring, but in playmaking and ball handling and everything that goes into it. He's been doing it for 23 seasons. LeBron James, and he gave it everything he had tonight. 39 minutes he played, 12 of 22. 9 rebounds and 15 assists, and he ended up with 30 points.
39 minutes for a 41-year-old. Gita, I know we have to explain it, you know, after every game he plays, but it still amazes me. Luka out, Austin Reeves out. You're asking a 41-year-old to take over, and he's able to do it, and do it with strength and, you know, efficiency. Getting other people involved. I just love his bully ball. He does some monster dunks he's still getting. And, you know, I think for the rest of the team to see LeBron in that mode with 2 players out, you know, he's trying to lead and show them what they have to do going forward. I think they got a good example of it in the Dallas game.
And by the way, we don't know what the future is, right? I mean, there's 4 regular season games left, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But as Jamal Crawford said during the broadcast, I mean, what he's watching, I mean, he was in the league with him for years, through his whole career, and now LeBron is still doing it. What a message he sends as well. I mean, you're not going to pout. You're not going to complain about it, but you're going to go out and you're going to lead, and you're going to show everyone else on your team. And Cooper Flagg, who's only 19, that this is how you compete when you're playing in the league in year 23.
Yeah, and by the way, who is Dallas going to center on for their film study? What's their game plan going to show once it's revealed that Austin and Luka are out?
Marcus Smart's out.
Yeah, Marcus Smart's out too. Thank you. You're running out of people to game plan for, except for one LeBron James. So their entire defensive focus is on this 41-year-old, as James said, 23rd NBA season, and he's still doing damage like this. These are high-quality numbers. You know, a shot, almost 60%, one rebound shy of a very nice triple-double. And, Geet, I've actually run out of things to say about him because it's kind of ridiculous. It's just, he just keeps surprising people. He just keeps raising eyebrows. And you know what? You know he loves that deep down. Yeah. People have been counting him out for years. Oh, he's in his mid-30s. He's going to slow down. Late 30s, early 40s. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, you see guys who played late into their careers at 40 years old and 39 years old, and they're playing in year 20 and 21, and this is no knock on them, but it's 6 points a game. It's sometimes you get to double figures. I mean, LeBron James is still one of the best players in the league. He's still one of the most impactful, and he's still an all-star. That's really impressive. Here are the standings. Lakers tied with Denver, but hold the tiebreaker after the 2 losses in a row, and the Nuggets had that big overtime win yesterday versus the San Antonio Spurs. Jokic with the 40 points and the big shot in OT. They are tied at 50 and 28 The Rockets, who play Steph Curry and the Warriors tonight, also have a game with the Timberwolves a little later on in this season this week, because there's only a week left. They are in the 5th spot, and the T-Wolves are in the 6th spot. So we talked in the pregame show, Brez, you'd really like to stay in that home court advantage in the first round territory. Yep. It's going to be very tough to hold on to that 3 seed, but you still have a little bit of a lead on the Houston Rockets, who are also winning games, and you'd like to see them to maybe take a step back, get lost. Especially
when you consider the Lakers' next game is here Tuesday against OKC. So that's going to be a really tough one to win. Denver plays tomorrow. They play Portland tomorrow. So Portland's still trying to, you know, they're going to be in the play-in tournament. They've had a nice season. Basically, the Lakers probably need a little help, you know, or just over the next couple days to try to maintain their hold on third.
They have OKC on Tuesday.
They got OKC. Yeah, that's going to be really tough. So, you know, it's probably to the point where the Lakers need a little help. I mean, is there any chance that they lose this game, James, if they're healthy? If Luka and AR go in there too, they win this game by 15 probably, you know, despite Cooper Flagg having a great night. Unfortunately, that's just not reality right now. And the Lakers are going to need maybe Portland to upset Denver tomorrow, and then whatever happens Tuesday here against OKC happens. But it's a game-by-game situation right now, James. I never would have thought the Lakers were in this mess, you know, a week ago. They were a couple games up in third, and then it just shows you how quickly things can change, Keith. It's crazy.
This is why I brought up this point, James, and we're going to get to JJ in a moment. I said this on the pregame show. You're coming off of March, where you go 15-2, and you're just feeling so good about this team. Yeah. Even around town, I'm sure you guys talk to fans just like we do. Everyone's excited. The team, you love the way they play, the way they compete. They had a lot of big wins along the way, and then that happens in OKC. Not only do you get blown out, but you lose two of your you know, top players in Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, and you don't know what the future holds. The wind does come out of the sails a little bit. Everyone's human, right? So you have to kind of regroup and figure out how you move on from here.
Yeah. Got to call AAA. You need some help.
Need some
help. Charge. When you lose 2 players, and for sure, Oklahoma knew the Lakers were coming in a hot team. They're watching. So, and their mentality was, okay, we need to show them, you know, we're not a 500 team. We're defending champions. And our mentality is different. And they did. You know, I thought Oklahoma, you know, had a good statement, but, man, we just could not get anything going in that game when you lost Luka. But, you know, it was the third quarter. I mean, they were down 25 games, pretty much over anyway. But, yeah, that was a tough game to play. And then lose like that and then lose 2 players. It's really tough to rebound from that. But I thought, you know, in the game today, they fought hard, they played hard. The 3-ball hurt us. And the
Lakers only hit 8 threes and shot 25%. So, you know, that's
crazy. That 3-ball determines the game.
Minus 18.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure obviously Austin and Luka would have hit 5 threes combined at least. I mean, it's crazy.
Love to get Marcus Smart back.
Yeah, he'd help.
Need him. Time to hear from Coach JJ Redick, brought to you by your Toyota dealers.
Well, you know, I think beyond that, it was we didn't start the game the right way and just play catch up the rest of the game. I mean, we talked about getting back, and we just didn't do a good enough job getting back early in that game. And I think too, it's, you know, there's like a downhill effect to when guys make shots. So, you know, they make some threes early. Cooper makes some jumpers early, and what is the effect of that? We don't get in our shifts. You know, we don't force the shots we want Flagg to take, and he ends up getting 17 free throws. So just a you know, poor defensive night, and again, we gotta figure that out as coaches and give these guys the answers to the test in a better way. You know, in terms of just the rotations, again, you know, just trying to find just you know, 9 guys that can go out there and help us compete. Yeah, I thought Jackson did a good job after his first run of the first half. You know, from then on, he was really good, and Maxey gave us a nice lift as well.
Yeah, I think your starters never played a minute together with one another. You started the second one, so never played a minute together with one another. How much of the, and you said maybe some of your tenants weren't being fouled, getting back and stuff, but how much of the early woes was to be expected as these groups figure out how to play with one another?
Yeah, I think it's. I wouldn't say expected, but I think it's normal. And the fact is we've got a week left of the regular season, and then a week to prepare, and we've got to have the commitment to do it on both ends, and that's the reason that we've put ourselves in the position to be in the playoffs is because we became a really good offensive team and a really good defensive team. So it's got to be the commitment to both ends.
JD, what did you kind of make of the load that LeBron had to carry? And how do you think he kind of fared in comments?
Yeah, I thought he played great. First of all, I thought we did enough intentionally to get him sort of out of actions and not try to have him involved in every single play when he was out there. And then there were times when he would get an outlet pass or get the ball and just kind of manipulated the half court set for us, and we got some good stuff. I think overall just 36 assists, one of our season highs, and that's without shooting the ball well from three. Did a great job of sharing the basketball.
One of the challenges, he's been a lot of your transition offense. If he's back, organizing offense, you can't do both, right?
Yeah.
Do that. Is that going to be one of the things you guys have?
It's hard to get transition offense if you're not getting stops. So I wouldn't take too much from today. If we have four more games where we give up 140 and we don't score in transition, you'll have your answer.
I wanted to follow up the assists, because you only have one game all year with more. And I know you used to tell us, you got 30 or more assists, you feel good about your team's chances of succeeding there. Just how encouraged are you just by the fact that you guys were able to practice and put in this kind of awful process and play through Luke to the point where Luke's never had a game with no assists? It's like his 9th year in the league.
Yeah. Again, we talked a lot about simplifying the initial play call and then getting into second actions. I think overall the guys did a really good job of that. I think we were 22-1 or 23-1 with 29 or more assists. So now there's 2 losses there, but it's an encouraging sign. I think he did a nice job. We got to figure out who can be the second ball handler. Obviously, 41 minutes too much for him, and then him having to handle as well. It's that's not a normal thing for him, and probably contributed to him not having a great shooting night. But I thought he did some amazing. I think it was his first triple-double in his career. Yeah, did some amazing things.
Tonight there weren't a lot of minutes where you wouldn't have LeBron, Austin, Luke on the floor, even fewer more than just those 3, and also Marcus isn't on the floor. With those groups, I guess, what keys become, more, needs to be honed in on even more, what is even more further emphasized when those liners are up there?
We got to be able to get stops. That's the biggest thing. Got to be able to get stops. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, Carl's Jr.
Look, steals, part of the game. LeBron gets one and gets it over to Dalton. Excellent pass. Just can't believe the guy still alley-oop and dunking.
He had a lot. I keep laughing when we do the LeBron highlights, Mike. It's incredible what he's doing.
LeBron James with Mike Trudell in the media.
All right, LeBron, you knew it was going to be a challenge trying to remake this whole thing on the fly. What are some things that you felt like worked that you could take to the next couple, and where were some areas for improvement?
Well, each game is different, so what can work in one game could possibly not work in the next game. But I thought defensively, we had some breakdowns. I think, especially in the first half, we gave up too many transition points, and then we allowed a lot of the key guys get to their spots. We can't do that, especially in the shorthanded guy.
Mike Tirico has had a stat on the broadcasters. It's the first time ever that a player over 40 and then a teenager both had 20+ in a game. It happened in the first half. I know it's not something you think about during the game, but just reflecting upon that now, what you're still able to do at your age, and then Cooper having the game he had.
Obviously Cooper's been in a zone over the last couple of games, but also just been playing consistent basketball all year. So it's great to see his from early in the season to where he is today. That's great, as a fan of him and a fan of the game. For me, just go out and just try to, I know what I'm capable of still. And, You know, I know it's going to be challenging for our ball club, but, you know, if I'm in the lineup, I got to try to make plays happen for us in multiple ways. And try to do that enough tonight to try to help us win. It wasn't enough.
JJ's used the phrase "all hands on deck" the last couple games and last couple days leading into today's game. How do you feel like this shot allotment reflected that kind of spirit, where it was, it wasn't just, I mean, you scored more than you had been, but it wasn't just you. It was everyone in the lineup was really looking for offensive contribution.
I mean, we had 36 assists. I mean, that's big time. So it's definitely one of our offense. You know, I think everybody felt in a good rhythm. But, you know, in order for us to, you know, play, you know, to the capabilities that we want to play at, it's going to be on the defensive end. But offensively, we're really good tonight.
What did you see from Luke out there? He got his first career triple-double, 16 rebounds, 11 assists, both were career highs for him. How did you feel like he kind of controlled the ball handling side of things?
No, he did an excellent job. Excellent job. I mean, rebounding 13 defensive rebounds, so he did an excellent job of helping clean the glass, helping us, you know, secure rebounds, and then just you know, feeding the ball, getting guys in their proper spots. So, you know, a big game for him.
LeBron, you were a part of a great Rookie of the Year race, and just looking at what Cooper, Flagg's able to do, you played against Con Campbell, there's other guys. Like, what makes Cooper as special as he's been, especially just playing against him now?
I mean, he's obviously special. I mean, I've seen that all the way back to, like, the AAU days when, you know, he was coming up in the ranks and playing with his team out of Maine and just doing the things that he was doing on the circuit. So knew he was special from there. And he's just taking that from you know, what he was doing back home to the AAU circuit to Duke, and now here he's just getting better and better and better. It looks like he loves the game. He's putting in the work, so he's gotten better. But it's a great rookie class. I mean, you look at VJ at Philly, you look at Con in Charlotte, you look at look at Dylan in San Antonio. It's a great rookie class, and all those guys are making an impact in their respective teams. So the league's in good hands with those rooks.
Luke Kennard got the start for the shorthanded Lakers and came through, notched his very first career triple-double. Tweet just in from Shams. After consultation with Laker doctors of his own medical team, Luka Doncic will seek specialized medical treatment in Europe on his grade 2 left hamstring in an attempt to expedite his return to play. His agent, Bill Duffy of WME Basketball, tells me and Dave McMenamin.
Well, Geet, it's definitely unusual. You know, we all remember when Kobe did this 15 years ago, went to Germany to have a treatment on his knee called orthokine. But, guys, that was during the offseason, you know, so to have Luka head out to Europe, where he presumably knows some doctors, some medical personnel that he's comfortable with, this is uncharted territory. And I like how the Lakers and he have been consulting with each other, and it sounds like, you know, that's what he wants to do, and that's where he feels comfortable with his medical people that he's probably grown up with and known for a couple decades now. So I like the move. It is unorthodox, but Geet, why not at this point?
Yeah, I mean, big game. He's just trying to get back as soon as he possibly can, and everyone has to appreciate that. And
the league has grown.
And I appreciate the update.
The league has grown over the last 20 years or so, and it's included global players. And so they have you know, contacts and doctors, and I think the league has been open to using more methods than they have in the past. Definitely before when I was playing, man, you couldn't even go outside the team doctor. You had to tell the team doctor. You couldn't go to another doctor. But now it's more, you know, it's open. There's more, you know, more science out there about different injuries and how to get back quicker. And so, yeah, I'm all for that.
All right, guys. Luke Kennard with Mike Trudell in the media.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, you know, missing those two guys it's a big change out there, and guys needed to step up. And for me, I knew kind of some of the stints I would run, that I play on the ball, off the ball, kind of a mixture of both. But yeah, obviously, you know, we had some really good things that we did offensively. We scored some points, but it's going to be defense for us, and that's what we have to, you know, hang our hat on going forward. And
pretty massive shift just in terms of, you know, what you might do when Luka and Austin and LeBron all out there versus tonight, where 40 minutes, the rebounds, the triple double. What what parts of the rest of your skill set you kind of have to tap into, and do you think that'll be the same moving forward?
Yeah, it's something I haven't really done, especially I haven't done it this year at all. You know, being that involved and having the ball in my hands that much. So it's something I've done before. I'm comfortable with, and obviously it's I got to be better with it. Maybe took some tough shots, but shots are going to fall. But at the same time, it's just getting everybody connected, being organized out there, and just being confident with it, which I am. And like I said, being organized and trying to get us a good shot every time down.
After the 48 hours you guys had, and then you fall down by 22, what do you think the group showed one another by making a 5-point game lead?
Yeah, it was great to see. You know, obviously, we ran some lineups that they haven't seen all year, and when we were down, we stayed together. It's something we've been doing, especially when we had that really good stretch, and we're still going to need that going forward. And we still got that guy out there with us to lead us and be the voice we need. And so yeah, it was really good to see everybody competing and getting back into it and giving us a chance.
Because you are a shooter, can you kind of what it's like for a player who mentioned you haven't been on ball like this all season? This is your second team this season as well, so there's a lot you had to adjust to. What's it like to go from that kind of on-ball presence while sacrificing what has made you as efficient, off the ball and as a shooter in general?
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I still need to be aggressive and look for my shot. And we can talk about efficiency, percentages, all that. That's not even the thing for me. It's being aggressive, looking for the right play down the floor every single time, and trying to get our team the best look that we can get. So, like I said, but like you said too, I haven't really been in this position much, but the last however many years, but and something I'm looking forward to being better at and getting better with it.
All right, there's Luke Kennard. Obviously, JJ talked about this as well. He mentioned, everyone's got to step up into roles that you're not used to playing. And when Luke Kennard was brought over here via the trade, they didn't think he'd be playing 41 minutes. But listen, he got his first triple-double. Played hard, 15 points, 16 rebounds, 11 assists. And he said the same thing kind of LeBron did and JJ. I mean, offensively, they did some really good things. They out-rebounded this team by 10. They had 36 assists. The ball was moving. But defensively is where they needed to be a little bit better. James, not a little bit better, a lot better, right? Yeah. And moments like that, and just, hitting some clutch shots as well. Only 8 threes made. So just one of those nights where he just couldn't flip the game.
It was a tough night for the Lakers. 3 balls, obviously. Dallas was able to, secure their threes. The Lakers, the defense, Geeter, just could not connect. They couldn't get to the shooters. Dallas did a good job. Flagg did a great job of breaking down the defense one-on-one. If not, making the passes out for the 3, which not a great three-point shooting team, but they did tonight. And that just makes for a long night when you got to come back from that deficit.
Yeah, and I like Luke Kennard's effort, First triple-double. He's been in the league for 9 years. Mm-hmm. And so I like a lot what he did. He had 16 rebounds. That is ridiculous for a guy who's basically playing point guard out there alongside LeBron. But yeah, James, you nailed it. And I think JJ's already said it. We're going to score okay, it appears. Now, Dallas, not the best indicator, not the best barometer for how good your offense is going to be, but it comes down to defense. Can you stop teams? And if you can't stop Dallas, you really need to kind of take an internal look and see if maybe a guy like Vanderbilt should get more time. If the offense is going well, let him come out play some defense. He only played about 12 minutes tonight, last I checked. So, JJ's got a couple days to figure things out. OKC, no rest for the weary, James. They're here in 48 hours. In LA for the rematch from just a couple days ago. All right, Rui Hachimura also contributed as a starter. Rui was a very efficient 9 for 13 from the... Let's check out the Lakers calendar. Only 4 games left in the regular season. You got a rematch with Oklahoma City Thunder on Tuesday.
This time it's at Crypto.com Arena. It's back-to-back Thursday, Friday with the Warriors and Suns. And the regular season concludes a week from today at home against the Utah Jazz. James, I know it's a loss, but let's do a little Access 360 and let's do it on LeBron, kind of turning back the clock.
41 years old, still leading the team with strength and power. Let's take a look at the 360 at LeBron. Still distributing, scoring, and rebounding. You see him here? Now, he's just isoing the defender. As soon as he separates, you see there's a strong dunk going to the cup. Here, he catches behind the three-point line, sees that there's some space, no body on him. Phenomenal specimen of ball player. We will always remember him. But what he's doing right now without Luke and without Austin Reeves as he continues to lead.
All right, still come on Access from 41 years old Braun to 19-year-old Cooper Flagg. Cooper dropped 45 on the Lakers.
Purple and gold is Access Sportsnet Lakers. Before tip-off, our panel of experts break down the day's matchup.
He's proven to be a threat offensively. I love that little mid-range game. Very impressed.
And after the final buzzer, head back to the studio for post-game reaction, highlights, and interviews.
When you got the size advantage and the skill advantage, you take over, and that's what he did tonight.
Access Sportsnet Lakers, pre- and post-game coverage on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Cooper Flagg had a good night. Here he is with the media.
You know, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, you know, he's somebody that, when I was a little kid, you know, watching him go through his whole career. So it's really impressive, obviously, first of all, just to watch him and see him be able to do the things that he's, you know, still able to do out there. But, you know, it's a dream come true. You know, these are the moments, these are the times, like, you know, to match up against somebody like that, you know, the career he's had, he's obviously one of the greatest. So it's incredible.
Do you feel like your game brought, like, usefulness out of his? Because he had some hops, he had some dunks. He was moving pretty.
I don't know if it, you know, if it came from me, but, you know, that's just what he's been doing. He's been doing that all year long, you know, still, you know, being athletic, playing in transition. So, you know, it's really impressive.
Coop, what sort of a statement do you think you made with 96 points over this weekend?
I think it's definitely, you know, some sort of statement. But, you know, it just goes back to what I said. You know, I'm confident in myself, and, you know, I know what I'm capable of, and I'll just let the rest of the stuff figure itself out.
What goes through your mind when you hear MVP chants while you're at the free throw line there before you check out?
It was pretty cool. Obviously, I've talked about this before. Like, we haven't given the fans a ton to show up for and be excited for all year long. So, you know, it's cool just to see the fans, you know, showing up every single night still and supporting us in a big way.
How are you processing this moment?
All right, final thoughts when we return. LeBron and the Lakers look to move on from tonight's loss as they face the Thunder once again on Tuesday.